London Uncovered. As we are moving on to a new episode, and we are talking about paradigm shift. And today we are talking about the power of giving. In other words, the genius of generosity. In school, we were taught it is better to give than to receive. Your left hand should not know what your right hand is giving, and no man is so poor that he cannot give. For life is given to us, living is what we do to it. And when we look around, everything priceless in life is given to us free. Our minds, our souls, our bodies, our hopes, our dreams, our ambitions, our intelligence, our family, our children, our friends, and even our country. We assume that one who does not have money is poor, or who cannot afford food, shelter, or clothing is poor. But in this world, as we can all see, everyone is poor. One can be poor in health, poor in character, poor in love, poor in discipline, poor in compassion, poor in joy, poor in knowledge, poor in understanding, poor in wisdom, poor in courage, poor in confidence, poor in wisdom, poor in spirit, and even poor in humility. At the same time, everyone in the world is rich, and you can give freely. It can be your time, it can be your knowledge, it can be your talents, encouragement, acknowledgement, thoughts, compliments, kindness, smiles, and you can give in even your love and empathy. Like we were taught, no man is so poor that he cannot give. And we can bless all those people who are in need. And in the world we see there are three kinds of people: the givers, the grabbers, and the graspers. The graspers hold what they have. They are too afraid to let it go. The grabbers grab at every given opportunity. And then comes the givers. For giving is a blessing. Giving is simply the power to change someone else's reality. Giving changes our lives. Giving frees our hearts. Giving connects us with others. Giving helps us to invest in what matters. Giving, above all, makes us happy and keeps us in good health. And as we look at the world around, even the most desolate people who have been in pain, who have been suffering, and when nothing could help them, they asked for God's grace. And this is one poem by Anne J. Flint, when she says, "He giveth more grace when our burdens go greater. He sendeth more strength when our labors increase. To added affliction he addeth his mercy. To multiply trials he multiplies peace." When we have exhausted our store of endurance, when our strength has failed ere the day is half done, when we reach the end of our hoarded resources, our Father's full giving has only begun. Fear not, thy needs shall exceed his provisions. Our God ever yearns his resources to share. Lean hard on the arm everlasting availing. Our Father, both thee and the Lord will upbear. His love has no limits, his grace has no measure, his power no boundary, known unto men. For out of his infinite riches in Jesus, he giveth and giveth and giveth again. And when Mother Teresa was asked once, how much should a person give? She said, give till it hurts. So let's go and see what people have to say about the power of giving. let's see, who do we have next? And yes, it's none other than our beautiful Mary. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, what are your thoughts on giving?
Giving is a very good thing. It depends on how many people look at it, but I think giving is all about sharing, looking after others, and giving them love.
Mary, tell us, what are the good things that come out because of giving?
When you give, you make a difference in someone's life. When you give, it's not charity, but it's a way of you extending that help, that friendship to somebody who may be needing it at the time.
What message would you give to the world, Mary?
I think given the conditions that we're living in now with the pandemic, I think it's very important for us to be very giving, because everybody's going through a difficult time one way or another, and it's important for us to give our love, extend our friendship and support. That's the best act of kindness anybody can do at this present moment.
Mary, thank you once again. As always, a pleasure.
You're welcome, Sanjay. Thank you.
Now let's see, who do we have next? And it is none other than Tom. And let's ask Tom about his opinion on the power of giving, the genius of generosity. Good morning, Tom.
Morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, what are your thoughts on giving?
Yeah, I think everybody should give. I was brought up Roman Catholic, so it's always been instilled in you when you go to church to you give alms. So, and then as I was growing up in my mum's household, she was always very big on giving to charities. So it was not something I could do when I was younger, but as I entered my early 20s, I started giving to charities. I remember being approached on the street one day coming out of, I think, Wilkinson's, and there was a guy there saying, "Oh, can you give to Scope?" And that was the very first charity that I gave to regularly. So over the years I've been to various charities. So I think everybody should give if they can, just even a little.
Tom, what do you think are the secrets of giving?
I think that everybody will come to a point where they might be hit by some kind of tragedy, or maybe a personal friend, and that tragedy that will often lead to either giving to a charity, or a lot of times people set up charities because they want to honour the person who has been afflicted or who has died. So that's what I say. I think giving and the power of giving comes to everybody's life at some point.
What message would you give to the world, Tom?
I think that everybody, realistically, they can give at least 1% of their total earnings to charity at a minimum. And I would even say go so far as to say maybe even 5%. Say of your monthly monthly intake. So if you can, like I say, you should give to charity, because there are a lot of disadvantaged people in the world, and they need help. They don't necessarily ask for it, but we should give anyway.
Tom, as always, you're amazing.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Moving on to someone special, we are back in Bloomsbury Bowling. And let's see, who do we have next? And he's none other than Tony. Good evening, Tony.
Good evening, everyone.
Tell us, what are your thoughts on giving?
My thoughts on giving is life is short as it is. So be happy, do not stress, and love everybody. Okay?
Tell us, what are the ways people can give?
Well, not financially, you're not able to. Just give happiness and be happy.
What message would you give to the world, Tony?
Let me see now. Everyone, do not stress with what's going on at the moment, and like I said, be happy.
Tony, once again, it's amazing to meet you. Thank you.
All right.
Back again in Bloomsbury Bowling, and we have someone very, very special with us today, and she's none other than Amanda. Good evening, Amanda.
Good evening, my love.
Tell us, what are your thoughts on giving?
Giving. I think giving is a bit underrated. And we should definitely do a lot more of it, without a doubt.
Tell us, what are the ways people can give?
People can give in lots of ways. Giving isn't just about money. It's not just about material things. Giving is time. Time, I think, is one of the most valuable resources of giving. Time, energy, and even your opinions as well. That's a good source of giving. Yeah.
Amanda, what message would you give to the world?
It's not really a one-word answer. That a lot more understanding is needed. A lot more unity. A lot more of making amends with the past in order to build a better future equally all round. That's something I'm a strong believer in. Yeah, we need to acknowledge the past in order to build a better future all round.
Amanda, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Be lucky.
And now we are standing in front of Bloomsbury Bowling, and we have someone very special today, and he's none other than Gary. Good evening, Gary.
Good evening, how are you?
Tell us your thoughts on giving.
Giving's good. Giving helps people.
What are the ways people can give, Gary?
There's lots of different ways. It's not necessarily financially, it's emotionally, just helping people, if they're down in the dumps, can give your thoughts, give your opinion. So it all helps.
What message would you give to the world?
Give a little bit more, be a little bit more sensitive to people's needs, caring, sharing, caring and all that. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Gary, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. As we come to the end of this episode on the power of giving, research shows that giving has a lot of benefits. And giving makes us feel happy. Giving changes lives. Giving is good for our health. Giving frees our hearts. Giving promotes cooperation and social connection. Giving evokes gratitude. And of course, giving is contagious. But what happens when you give and people do not appreciate? What happens when you give and people hurt you? And what happens when you give and people take advantage of you? And there is this poem anyway, which one author puts it: people are illogical, unreasonable and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse of selfish ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness will make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The biggest men and women with biggest ideas can be shot down by smallest men and women with smallest minds. Think big anyway. People favor the underdogs, but only follow top dogs. Fight for a few underdogs anyway. What you spend years building will be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help, but may attack you if you do help them. Help people anyway. Give the world the best you have, and you'll get kicked in your teeth. Give the world the best you have anyway. And once again, in the words of Mother Teresa, give, give, give until it hurts.